to former Secretary Bonoan. Nung kausap niyo ho ang Pangulo, nung pinabigyan, hiningan po kayo ng report about the Ghost Project, natunogan niyo na ho na may mga problema na ganito po, yung mga coordinates, or wala kayong idea because you relied only on the information submitted to you by the district's engineers and regional directors. And that's the report that you gave to the President. Kaya inanunsyo ng Pangulo na napakarami mga ghost project. Is this correct?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, of course I relied on the data that was generated by our people in the department, especially the office of the late Undersecretary Cathy Cabral, especially the initial the submitted data are actually from the consolidated data by the late Undersecretary Cabral. So, nandun po yung mga MIPS data. And I think, ang lang na presidente nung nag-usap kami is actually the only potential ghost projects that I reported to him are those projects that were reported to me dito sa may Bulacan First Engineering District. Wala na pong iba.
Have you informed the President na magkaiba yung MIPS coordinates at saka doon sa actual coordinates? Did you explain it to him?
Yes, I think in our conversations, I told the President that some of these are locational, the MIPS are locational coordinates, but there is actually what we have as stake coordinates, which is the basis of the contract in itself. But having said that, I assured the President that it's still in the same area, yung project na yan. It's still in the same area. It cannot be in any other area, Mr. Chair. Because the kontrata, yung gagawin na yung kontrata, I think depende depende dun sa situation on the field that would warrant on the technical assessment on the field. This is where they're going to put up the as-stake project.
All right, thank you, former Secretary Bonoan. Let me go now to Yusek Bisnar. Yusek Bisnar, when you found out na meron po mga ganitong mga inconsistencies, meron pong problema tayo sa mga coordinates, na-inform po ba ang palasyo na Mr. President, na-inform po ba ang Secretary Vince Dizon na may problema po tayo, na may mga ghost project na hindi naman talaga ghost, pero nagawa naman pala, nasa ibang lugar lang? Were they informed, the Secretary and the President?
Si Secretary po informed na, and pina-finalize lang po yung report para po mapadala sa PMS and para po makorek yung sumbong sa Pangulo website, Your Honor.
Ilan po sa tingin ninyo right now ang na wrong ang naibigay na coordinates? Kasi Mr. Undersecretary, ang dami pong kinasuhan, ang dami pong contractor, ang dami pa mga opisyal ng Public Works and Highways na kinasuhan. Kung ginawa naman po ang project, yun po yung tanong natin, it's kind of unfair saying na ghost itong project. Lahat tuloy ng buong Pilipinas, ang tingin tuloy lahat ng projects ng DPWH last year are ghost projects. And when in fact, nandiyan naman pala, nagkamali lang ng pwesto. Dito pala sinasabi, wala dito, yung pala 1.2 kilometers, 1.9 kilometers, nandun pala yung actual project. Na ano ang aksyon ang ginawa ho ninyo? To rectify this? Hindi po maliit na problema ito, malaking problema po ito. Mr. Undersecretary, marami yung nakakulong ngayon. May mga ngayon pinapasampina, katakot-takot na sampinang inisyo ngayon ng Department of Justice para sagutin ng mga taong ito. What have you done so far?
Truth and nothing but the truth in this proceeding.
Can I
Go
ask-
ahead, Yusek Bernabe.
Mr. Chair, just to set the record straight po, no, yun pong mga naging subject of cases pending now before the Ombudsman or Sandigan Bayan, ito po ay talagang mga ghost projects po. So, aside from the issue na meron nga po mga wrong coordinates, meron pa rin po talagang ghost projects.
So, are you telling me, is this the reason why bakit nadidelay tayo dahil ito ba ang reason na dinodouble check ninyo kaya wala pa na issue ng mga warrants of arrest sa ilang mga opisyal? Because of this, you want to double check it?
Correct, Mr. Chair. No? Kaya po medyo it takes time to validate kasi nga po hindi porket yung initial validation done by the field na wala doon sa MIPS coordinates, you have to verify po kung wala po talagang nagawa. So that's why ito pong 421, it took us time to validate all these sites po to ensure na kapag po may kakasuhan for ghost, talaga pong ghost project.
You said 421, di ba ilang libo po yung nabanggit na Pangulo na sa report niya, ang ghost project? Are you saying itong 421 pala na validate ninyo na correctly na talagang ghost?
Mr. Chair, yes po. Ito po yung listahan ng ICI. ICI po kasi talaga yung may initiative on this and we are just rendering them technical support po. Pero po yung 421 po due po of course to limited manpower. Yun po ang kanila munang inuuna and then afterwards po they will expand further doon po sa ibang mga suspects.
So ongoing po ang inyong pag-check ngayon, pag-validate kung talagang ghost or ika nga nasa ibang pwesto lang, nasa ibang lugar lang na ilagay yung project or ilang meters ang layo or ilang kilometro ang layo doon sa MIPS sa coordinates.
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Ilan pa po ang i-validate ho natin?
We will defer po to the ICI to give us po yung schedule and to render the final report. But as we speak po, we understand that the 421 malapit na pong ma-finalize yung first batch po na yun.
Alright, thank you. Secretary Vida, DOJ, ano ang ginagawa ho ninyo ngayon? Kasi hindi ho kaya ang problema dito dahil mali po may mga narinig po natin sa DPWH na may mga wrong coordinates, pina-check po sa NBI teams natin, AFP, PNP, wala yung project pero move lang pala ng 1 to 2 kilometers away doon sa actual site na sinasabing dapat kasi MIPS coordinates pala yun, hindi talaga actual coordinates. Meron po ba kayong ginagawang counter-checking also, not just relying sa ICI, kundi mismong mga tao nito to make sure? Kasi nga naman po, marami ho tayong kakasuhan, marami ho tayong bibigyan ng warrant of arrest. What have you been doing so far dito po sa DOJ to make sure po na pabibigyan po ng hustisya ang lahat?
Maraming salamat po, Senator. Sa kasalukuyan po, 14 po yung projects na identified na ng Department of Justice sa pamamagitan po ng pagkalap ng iba't ibang pirasong ebidensya, pirasong ebidensya. Kaya po ito po yung nakasalang na. 14 po na projects na sa amin pong kami po ay kumbinsido na ghost projects. Ito po ay hinugot doon sa unang listahan po na 421. Doon sa iba po na 421 projects, hindi pa po kami kumbinsido na ghost projects sila at patuloy po kami nagkakalap ng iba't ibang ebidensya para masigurado siyang ghost project. Pero sa kasalukuyan po, tulad po yung sa 14 na yun po, yung 2 po nun, kasalang na po sa Sandigan Bayan. Yung so 14, 2, yung 12 nakasalang po yung sa isa pong batch, yung involved po yung Sims Construction Trading, may 3 kaso din po yun. Nakagayak na po na maglabas ang DOJ ng resolusyon para ipasa sa Office of the Ombudsman para timbangin kung ito i-aproba ng Office of the Ombudsman. Sumunod po, may 6 na project din po na involved po ang Wawaw Construction at Top Notch Catalyst Builders na ito rin po ay tinuturing naming ghost projects. Ito po ay nakasalang pa ho sa PI. preliminary investigation. Tapos may tatlo pa hong high value cases na involving ang kinaso naman po na nakasalang na PI ay plunder po. Para po sa kalaman ng lahat, ang PI po ay preliminary investigation. Ito po yung proseso bago po magsampa ng information ang Office of the Ombudsman sa korte, either sa Sandigan Bayan o di kaya ay sa Regional Trial Court.
Mr. Secretary, so naka-PI yung iba kaya wala pa mga warrant of arrest, pero are we expecting or are we going to expect na may mga warrants of arrest ilalabas soon to some officials pretty soon at talaga ito ay final na po na talagang napatunayan na ito ay mga ghost projects, Mr. Secretary?
Mr. Senator, opo, umaasa po kami. Tulad po ng mga una-unahing pahayag, ang paglalabas po ng arrest warrant ay isang judicial function. So ayaw po namin pangunahan ng korte ang Sandigan Bayan, pero kami po ay kumbinsido na pag nagsalang po kami ng information na inapruba ni Ombudsman, ito po ay makakatindig sa pag-aaral ng husgado para po ma-issuehan ng arrest warrant.
Thank you. Let me get back to Yusek Bisnar. 421 cases, 14 pa lang po ang kumbinsido kayo na ghost project. 1,000 po yung na-file sa sumbong sa Pangulo. Kailan ho tayo matatapos nito? Baka tapos na po ang administrasyon na ito, itong mga kaso sa flood control, hindi pa natatapos, Undersecretary.
Yun po talaga ang magiging sitwasyon natin po. Kasi as of today po, out of the 30,000 flood control projects from 2016 to 2025, out of the 30,000 flood control projects po from 2016 to 2025, ang na-inspect na po ng AFP, PNP is 10,238. Dahil po dito sa development po na to na most likely maling location ang napuntahan nila, then we have to restart over. Dito po sa 10,000 na validate nila, ang dineclare po nilang non-existent ngayon po is 252. So babalikan na naman po natin tong 252 na to or yung mga projects dito na hindi po kasama dyan sa 416. Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, ang tanong ho natin kasi habang tumatagal po ito, magkakaroon ng idea yung mga tao na baka may tinatakpan ho tayo sa sobrang tagal. And I'm sure you've heard of the words or phrase na justice delayed is justice denied. Sa sobrang tagal po nito, ika nga, baka may mga maabsuelto, magkaregluhan, dahil sa sobrang bagal ho. Are you satisfied or with this investigation going on sa baba ninyo?
Your Honor, I would like to reiterate po yung nasabi na rin ni Yusek Bernabe kanina na ang DPWH po at this point is supporting yung effort po ng ICI which is mandated na siya pong mag-lead ng investigation, Your Honor.
Yusek, Secretary Vida, kayo ho ba ay satisfied kayo dito sa 421, 14 pa lang po ang sigurado na ghost project. Meron po tayong 30,000 plus na suspected ghost project. Opo, baka tapos na ho yung termino ng administrasyon na ito. Ongoing pa ho investigation. Baka paano ko sa susunod administrasyon, hindi na po pag-uusapan nito. Di marami pong makakawala, marami pong malilibre. Mr. Chair.
Opo. Mr. Senator, if I may suggest po, sana po ang DPWH at iba pa hong mga katulong ng DPWH sa pagbe-validate, maglabas na rin ng datos kung yung libo-libo hubang project, alin yung talagang hindi na ghost project para malimit ho natin yung universe. Tulad po yung nabanggit po kanina ni Secretary Bunoan, malaking input po sa amin yon. Na sa mga initial report sa kanya lumalabas sa Region 3 lang. Diba? Yung mga unang bahagi. Para po mapaliit natin, para hindi ho tayo balik na balik sa libo-libo, kung makakapaglabas na ho ang ating mga kapatid sa kagawaran ng DPWH na, halimbawa po, 10,000, 9,800 dyan, sigurado na kami hindi ghost project. Di lumiit na po yung ating universe. Kasi limitado po ang resources ng government. Limitado rin po ang oras natin sa pag-asa ng ating mga kababayan na magkaroon nga ho ng solusyon. So what ang suggestion po ng inyong lingkod ay para mapaliit po natin. If talaga pong validated na hindi siya ghost project, makapaglabas ho ng datos na hindi na talaga ghost project yon. Mas makapag-concentrate po tayo sa case build-up dun sa talagang tinuturing nating ghost project.
So kayo din, Mr. Chair, ay nababagalan sa pangyayaring ito? Kayo po sa Department of Justice?
Hindi naman po nababagalan. At batid po namin ang iba yung pagkilos po ng mga kapatid natin mula sa DPWH. Baka lang po yung idea na nailulutang sa publiko ay libo-libo pa rin project, pero batid na naman po sa datos na nakita na yung 9,000 mahigit ay hindi talaga ghost project. So, aminin na natin sa publiko kung talagang hindi ghost project yon. Mag-concentrate na tayo ho para ho matumbok na ho natin kung sino yung dapat kasuhan, makapag-case build up, makapag-ipon na po tayo ng iba't ibang ebidensya pa ho.
Tama po yun, Mr. Chair, and I agree with the Secretary of Justice, siguro, Department of Public Works and Highways, if you can submit a report kahit sa kanila lang muna na ito, we believe na hindi ito ghost project, ito ay ghost project. Kasi kawawa ang dami hong nag-aantay, ang dami hong nakalagay sa media, nag-aantay na sabpina, napadalhan ng mga sabpina, pero wala pa rin pala because of that. Siyempre, kailangan natin siguro bilisan ho natin kasi ang taong bayan po ay nag-aantay din. Tingin tuloy, baka hinuhukus-pokus na ng pamahalaan ng administrasyon na ito at maraming i-absuelto, may delay pala tayo sa investigasyon.
Mr. Chair, you will comply po, no? Mr. Chair, for information lang po of the body also, as of date, we have already filed cases against 87 individuals. And habang po kami ay tumutuloy ng investigasyon, kapag po meron kami makita na substandard or ghost, we will continue to file cases po, no? Hanggang po kami ay tuloy-tuloy po itong aming investigasyon po.
Okay, it seems po na hindi reliable ang MIPS coordinates at there are certain inconsistencies. Moving forward po, ano ang reforms ngayon ng DPWH para ma-ensure na isa na lang po ang coordinates ng MIPS at PCMA? Kasi po parang medyo magulo eh. I mean, meron tayong MIPS, merong ika nga para sa PCMA. Ano ba talaga? May paliwanag si Yusek Bisnar kasi nababago yung contour, yung ilog. Pero hindi ba pa pwedeng isa na lamang na coordinates? Kasi magulo ito. Through MIPS, we identify the project. Through PCMA, we monitor the project. So hindi ko tama na magkaiba ang coordinates sa MIPS at PCMA. Will you agree with me?
Mr. Chair, sobrang agree po kami dyan, no? Tamang-tama po yung inyong sinabi. Kaya nga po meron po kami mga reform na ngayon to implement itong mga bagong systems, to improve the systems. In fact, meron nga po kaming foreign assisted project to reform this application para nga po isa na lang ang coordinates na gamit po natin. This on top po ng aming nilaunch sa transparency portal. Moving forward po, we also intend to have satellite images to monitor po ang aming mga proyekto para nga po to lessen the human intervention.
Kasi Yusek Bernabe, habang may mga gray areas tayo na ganito, yung mga malilikot ang isip, nakakapag-isip ng how to make money because there's a gray area, dalawa po yung ika nga coordinates natin. Pero kung iisa lamang po ito, wala akong kawala, di po ba?
Tama po kayo, Mr. Chair.
Mr. President, just
Go ahead.
this is just a request for submission very quickly. Yusek Bernabe, nabanggit nyo yung nagsampa na kayo ng ilang kaso for ghost and substandard. Baka pwedeng isubmit sa ating komite kasi pinag-uusapan kanina ghost eh. Pero meron ding maliwanag na substandard. Which means therefore na hindi rin compliant at maaaring ang dahil kulang sa budget dahil kinurakot naging substandard, hindi ba? So if you can submit to the committee the list of cases involving substandard projects and involving ghost projects for the
We will
review.
comply, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Yes, going back to Secretary Yusek Bernabe, naitanong ko kanina ng ating chairman kung ito po bang wrong coordinates na ito was deliberate? Sinadya po ba o hindi sinadya? Anong basa ninyo? I mean, sinadya po ba ito para ligawin ang mga investigasyon ng Blue Ribbon Committee, investigasyon ng ICI, ng Ombudsman? Ito po ba'y sinadya sa basa ho ninyo? Bakit nagbigay ho ng mga inconsistent at wrong coordinates? At ngayon lumalabas na may mga hindi naman pala lahat ay ghost project. Nagawa din naman pala. Yung pala ilang metro lamang ang layo sa Pinuntan o Chinek. Ano hong comment niyo ho dito?
Again, sorry po, Mr. Chair, no, but I cannot speak on behalf of the former secretary on the intention of submitting the MYPS coordinates vis-a-vis the actual location. Kami lang po ay factual that upon inspecting the projects of the 421 ay meron nga pong variance between the MYPS coordinates and the actual coordinates. Now, the reason or rationale for submitting the MYPS, hindi po namin kaya sagutin, Mr. Chair.
Hindi ho ninyo, siyempre may mga naiwan pa po dyan ng mga district engineer, yung mga mid-level supervisors, hindi ho kayo nagtanong-tanong bakit mali yung naibigay na mga coordinates? Did you ask? Did you try to ask?
Mr. Chair, I believe they submitted both MYPS and the actual coordinates. Ngayon po, I think doon na po sa central office na po ang nagdesisyon kung ano po yung kanilang ipapasa, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. I have one last question, Mr. Chair. Then it's okay. I will just give way to my colleagues. Secretary Bonoan, kayo ba, you believe na yung mga binigay ho ninyo na coordinates or yung na mga tao na sinadya po ito or talagang tanga lang ang posible naman ho, pinag-aralan naman ho natin dyan sa civil engineering course, yung mga coordinates po na yan, may mga barkada po ko na mga civil engineer, pinag-aralan po, basic po yan sa civil engineering, mga coordinates na yan. Ano nangyari dito, Yusek?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, as I mentioned earlier, ang MIPS coordinate is a locational coordinate. Yung coordinates kung nasaan yung ilog, nasaan yung town, nasaan yung province, that is the locational coordinates. Ang difference, Mr. Chair, is actually when the project is going to be contracted out, there is what we call as-stake coordinates, as-stake plans. Depende na po dun sa condition on field condition. Kasi sila na po magdidetermine where the project will be most useful. Doon na po nila ilalagay yung project na yan. So that is actually the as-stake coordinates, which is actually the limits of the contract that will be implemented, Mr. Chair. May I just want one comment lang, Mr. Chair. When I learned about the report that there were actually about 421 potential ghost projects, it's already a mind-boggling information to me. I have never anything about this kind of ghost projects. Kasi if there would be that many ghost projects, I was wondering why would this not mean naipaano na ng COA sa departamento? Hindi na ba because yearly, Mr. Chairman, the COA will have to submit to us actually their observation report. And 421 potential ghost projects, as reported, is really mind-boggling to me. A number of that sort all over the country.
Hindi ako, Secretary Bonoan, maaaring maniwala ho ako kasi kita naman nung natin may sabwatan, no, ilang mga district engineers po ninyo dati at saka mga regional directors, and yung mga COA, yung COA na naka-assign po sa inyong tanggapan, nag-uusap-usap po sila. Pero with what you're saying for sana nga lang po with the new administration magawan ho kagad ng paraan ho ito, ano po, kasi makapag-isip po ang tao na wala ho nangyayari, kaya yan ho ang nireklamo ng mga kababayan natin, wala po nahuhuli, wala pa nakukulong. Yung pala may problema tayo kung hindi pa po na-raise ng Mr. Chair natin na ang problema sa mga wrong coordinates, kaya kailangan i-double check ho natin. Yun ang mahirap. Next time po siguro, before we make statements or comments sa media, sa social media, kesyo ganito, kesyo ganon, we have to verify muna po, ano po. Kasi pinapahasa po natin ng taong bayan, justice this, huhulihin sa ganito, kakasuhan na sa ganon, hindi pa makasukasuhan, iniisip tuloy mga kababayan natin, baka nagkakarigluhan na po, may inaayos na, may pinaplansya na, yung pala dapat to, sinabi nyo kaagad na may problema po tayo, dinire-inform ninyo ang DOJ, ito pong may mga problema tayo sa wrong coordinates para na-inform ang taong bayan. Because yung mama ho, ang Pangulo, nagsalita na may mahuhuli, si Ombudsman Rimulya, may mahuhuli, may arestuhin ng mga opisyal, alam nangyari. Yung palang tingin ko, yung problema natin dyan sa mga coordinates na yan. Anyway, Mr. Chair, I'll just reserve my other questions sa second
Thank you, Vice Chairman Tulfo. Before I recognize the Senate President, quick intervention, follow-up sa kanyang tanong. I remember, noong nagpunta kayo sa Oriental, and this was the first time na narinig ko sa inyo mayroong maling grid coordinates. This was long before the Sumbong sa Pangulo website was launched. Sinabi niyo kagad sa inyong interview, mali yung grid coordinates namin ng aking team na in-inspection namin, na kinonklud namin ghost project sa Sitio Dique, Oriental Mindoro. And we were very sure na hindi yun, na hindi mali. Alam namin talagang ghost project because we never relied or we did not rely on the Sumbong sa Pangulo, which at that time was not yet in existence. Hindi pa ito na-launch. Bakit meron na kagad kayong parang subliminally or consciously, alam niyo nang may mga maling grid coordinates? That was the first time, when I first learned na talagang merong mga nasubmit sa Sumbong sa Pangulo na maling grid coordinates, my investigator's mind, kaya una naisip ko Secretary, bakit kayo nakapagsalita noon na mali yung grid coordinates namin? Well, in fact, we did not rely on the Sumbong sa Pangulo grid coordinates. We relied on the DPWH grid coordinates and people on the ground. Kaya we were 100% sure na yung sinabi ko sa aking privilege speech na ghost project sa Sitio Dique was really a ghost project. Alam niyo, Mr. Secretary, i-disclose ko lang, noon ako unang napikon sa inyo. Because you were undermining the work done by my staff. Go ahead, please. Please explain.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, but there's probably a misunderstanding a little bit on that, Mr. Chair. I only knew about the differences between yung grid coordinates when we submitted actually the list of projects sa Office of the President. That is, I never knew actually about the coordinates, even
maliwanag po yung inyong interview Mali yung grid coordinates ni Senator Lacson. Yun ang narinig sa interview nyo. Sabi ko, paano niya sabihing mali? Chinek namin sa ground mismo, kausap namin yung mga tao, and we inspected physically. So my other question is, between August 4 last year, when you submitted the list of the grid coordinates to the Office of the President, and now that we're discussing it, kailan nyo unang na-realize na may mga maling grid coordinates?
after August 4, Your Honor.
When? After August 4 could be today.
Well, I think a few weeks after, when I already been able able to validate actually yung existence of the ghost projects in Bulacan First Engineering.
Who informed you na merong mali?
The Regional Office of Region 3, Your Honor.
Hindi kayo nasabihan ni Undersecretary Bernardo na mali po sir yung ating nasubmit?
Hindi po for that particular area, Your Honor.
No.
We did not
All
discuss.
over, no? All over.
We did not discuss actually coordinates at the time, Your Honor.
Undersecretary
But,
Bernardo?
we did not discuss the coordinates actually at the time. It's only the presence of...
Yeah, okay. I want to hear from Undersecretary Bernardo because in one of our private conversations, na-take up niya yan eh. Nasabi na sa inyo na mali po sir yung ating nasubmit. When was that?
Mr. Chair, basta ang naalala ko lang po noon is that when I talked to one of my, especially Region 4B during that time, because there were issues in Region 4B that I think hindi naman po ghost talaga. So, ang ginawa ko po doon with the Director Gerald Pacana na hindi ko po makausap noon, ay naalala ko po noon, kinausap ko si Engineer Altea at saka si Ruben Santos na sabi ko, paliwanag nyo na kay Secretary yan dun sa yung sitwasyon natin na baka mali yung mga coordinates. Kasi ang pinag-iisipan po namin is that, although alam po naman ng taga-DPWH na to, the late Undersecretary Cabral made the submission to the PMS. I think she directly submitted that to the PMS. Meron po siyang kausap doon. And of course, I think the Secretary during that time cannot read all these documents. Hindi naman po niya mabanir eh. Ang alam ko po noon, nagpapalitan lamang ng nagsasubmit siya si Cabral sa PMS. So yun po yung alam ko. So that is why, ang sinabi ko po, paliwanag ninyo kay Secretary Bonoan na mali ang coordinates. Baka kailangan maano niya. And I think between those period, may napaliwanag po ni Ruben Santos kay Secretary, nabanggit po sa kanya.
Kailan po ito?
I think after the submission na po nung sambong sa Pangulo, Mr. Chair.
After August 4.
After August 4 po.
So, how many days after August 4 yan?
Siguro po ilang araw lang kasi parang
Ilang araw?
ako retired na.
So, were there efforts to inform the President to correct, or were there efforts within the department to correct, to rectify? Kasi ang tagal ginagamit ng sumbong sa Pangulo yung mga grid coordinates eh. And kami mismo, I kept praising the sumbong sa Pangulo as very helpful to us. Kailan nyo kinol yung attention ng Malacanang? Ops, i-recall muna namin kasi mali yung aming nasubmit. Were there efforts in that regard?
Yes, as I recall, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, I think when I reported to the President the presence of the ghost projects in Bulacan First Engineering District, after I have validated it personally, 2 weeks after siguro po yun, 2 weeks after August 4, 2 weeks after August 4 po nung kwan dito. And I told the President, as I learned from our staff noon na po, nung pinag-uusapan na natin yan, that they were telling me that there seems to be some differences between the MIPS coordinates and the ASISTIC coordinates. So I told the President that there are certain differences between the coordinates submitted in this sumbong to Pangulo.
Thank you. The Senate President is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was really going to ask the Department of Justice 1 or 2 questions, but before that, a concern was brought to my attention. You mentioned August 4, but August 3, former Secretary Bonoan, Engineer Bonoan, Yusek Alcantara reported to you the existence of ghost projects, which was admitted to him by Bryce Hernandez. You reported this to the President, who eventually, I understand, went to the site. So, did you validate this? How did you validate the report of Yusek Alcantara?
I went to the site.
District Engineer Alcantara.
Your Honor, I went to the site myself, together with people from the regional office and they pointed it out to me, the location where they claim it's already a project that was completed. And I took some time actually to validate it, asking people around, I mean the people in that area, if they indeed this project were actually new projects, and they confirmed to me that these were old structures already, Mr. Chair.
So that was when you reported it to the President?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And he went to the site?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Have cases been filed for these three ghost projects?
Well, Your Honor, after I resigned from the office in September 1, I would not put
You're not aware. You're not aware. Where is this project, engineer?
in Bulacan First Engineering District, Your Honor. I think one in Malolos and one in Pandi or something.
There was and also, I don't know if you're aware, but there was a case filed over the Nauhan Mindoro Ghost Project. You're aware of this?
Yes, this is in Oriental Mindoro, Your Honor.
Yes, I think so. And according to the report, the list of the accused is not complete. Are you aware of that, or is the DOJ aware of that? There are certain members of the DBM that should have been included, but are not included in these cases being filed. Can you enlighten us, Secretary Bida?
In the case of the Nauhan project, Your Honors, this matter was investigated by the Office of the Ombudsman, and similarly, the preliminary investigation was also conducted. The same is not visible to the Department of Justice, Your Honor.
So it should be the Ombudsman that we should pose this question. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the information may be available to the Office of the Ombudsman, Your Honor.
All right. Now for the DOJ, I'm not going to take much of the time, Mr. Chairman. What do we do with the personalities that are under our custody when I've heard that you now have under your witness protection program, or accepting pala, Roberto Bernardo, Harry Alcantara, Gerald Opalencia, and Sally Santos? What do we do now, Mr. Secretary?
With your permission, PG Dong Padulyon would.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So far as the witness is admitted already into the program, Mr. Chair, the department will probably be asking for, especially for those who are under the custody of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, that we take custody of them so that they can be placed under the protective custody of the Witness Protection Program.
You are contemplating on sending a request to the Senate, is that it?
Yes, we are contemplating on doing that, Mr. Senate President, sir.
But not at the very moment, no?
You may only be referring to Henry Alcantara, right?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
He's the only one under the custody of the Senate that was appointed.
Yes, sir. Only Engineer Henry Alcantara, sir.
Bernardo, Opalencia, and Santos are not, no?
Opalencia, Engineer Opalencia, and Sally Santos are not under the custody of the Senate, Your Honor.
All right.
Sama nyo na pag alis niya, kung gusto niya.
If you will be
The
granted by
chairman,
the...
the chairman is already agreeing, I don't think anyone else would...
Yeah, if the chair of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee so desires, sir, then we will take the necessary or appropriate action to take him into our custody.
Sige, baka mabawasan na namin yung laman doon sa baba dahil baka may mga ipapasok kami bago eh.
Meron nga.
Especially those who do not respond to the subpoena that the Senate has brought out. So, all right.
Your Honor, if we just trace out the operational matters with the office of the committee of the Senate, Your Honors. Yes, we will gladly take the protective custody of the
I know for a fact that the Committee on Agriculture under Senator Pangilinan wants to confine some people
a few more after. Currently, Mr. President, and I think in the next hearing, mayroon pa ho. Kaya mas talagang mailipat na yung iba.
So, Mr. Chairman, are we agreeing to the request?
Medyo na rin sa program yung iba kung mag-cooperate para mabawasan pa rin kami rito. Assuming that they fully cooperate, ha? Kasi I've been telling them, informing them na hindi pa naman huli yung lahat. And the committee may even recommend through the Senate President, once they fully cooperate and help in the investigation and eventual conviction of those being implicated, then, and I hope you will agree, if the committee will recommend to the WPP, to the DOJ actually.
Mr. Chair, we will seriously consider the recommendation coming from the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee and the Senate President. As we have made official in the statements of the department, we are not totally disclosing the possibility of these witnesses who applied that they will no longer be considered in future cases. Pwede pa naman po. Ang sinasabi lang po ng departamento, base dun sa kanilang application sa ngayon at base dun sa mga kasong gusto nilang makover, hindi po papasok. Pero we're not saying that in the future, if there are cases or there are other statements that may come out, where it will turn out that they will be or they can be utilized in the prosecution of these cases, the department will certainly consider it, sir.
So, loud and clear, ha? Bryce, JP, Curly, you heard it from the horse's mouth. May pag-asa pa kayo. So, pagtulog niyo mamaya, isipin niyo mabuti yung gusto niyo i-testify. Hindi po pwedeng half-hearted and half-truth. Kailangan talaga, when you decide to fully cooperate, fully cooperate.
Right. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will not use the rest of my time. I will just use it for interjection later. Sige, thank you.
Isa pa, before I recognize Senator Risa Ontiveros, hindi to cast in stone, di ba? Kasi pag nag-violate along the way, pwedeng mawala sila sa program.
Totoo po yun. May mga kondisyon na kailangan nilang ang pinaka-basic na kondisyon, patuloy na makipagtulungan
Correct.
sa Estado para mapatibay natin ang kaso at successful tayong manalo sa mga kasong atin.
Then ang covered lang yung kasong tinetestify nila. Pag may sumulpot na ibang kaso na hindi nila binanggit, na hindi sila kasama, makakasuhan pa rin sila doon sa ibang kaso.
Opo. Yan po ang ating Witness Protection Program, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Secretary.
Mr. Chair, before we move
Yes, Senator GB.
Senator Ontiveros, tungkol lang dito sa pag-admit sa state witness protection program. How do you determine yung gravity ng participation of those who were admitted as state witnesses? Kasi baka mamaya yung mga na-admit dito most guilty. Di ba, I think, tataloy, pero sa batas, na yung mga most guilty, hindi ko pwedeng maging state witness.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tama po kayo dun, sir, na sa pag-evaluate po na kung sino yung tatanggapin bilang state witness, hindi naman po kasi question niya na unahan. Ang pinag-uusapan po dito, meron po mga pamantayan na sinusundan tayo. First, that what they have to say is material, it can be corroborated, and that they're not the most guilty. So, kung meron po tayong makikita, no, hindi naman po rin kasi kailangan sa lahat ng kaso na kumuha ng state witness ang Estado. Only in those cases or instances na sa tingin natin kulang o may kakulangan doon sa ebidensya na kailangan mapunuan, diyan po natin tinitingnan kung sino ang pwede natin i-considera bilang state witness.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Also, I think you have to be meticulous on who should be admitted as state witness. Kasi baka mamaya maubos na. Kung matanggap ang state witness, yung talagang main participants, sino pang Sino na lang maiiwan dito? Kaya you have to be meticulous on who to admit as state witnesses.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yes, Mr. Chair. We are very careful and we are conscious of the need to scrutinize and carefully examine who the applicants are. We cannot consider everybody who applies because otherwise wala na po tayong ipoprosecute dyan. Pero ang titiyakin po namin is that bago po kami kumuha ng state witness under the Witness Protection Program, ito po ay makakatulong po doon sa kasong isasampa natin. At bilang parang ano naman, parang safety net, dito po sa mga natanggap, binanggit na nga po kanina ni Secretary Vida na hindi naman po sa lahat ng pagkakataon covered dito lahat ng kaso. It only refers to the cases which are covered and mentioned in the Memorandum of Agreement.
Thank you. Before I recognize Senator Rizon Tiveros, segue lang tayo ng konti. Anyway, pwede naman balikan tong issue, including the Cabral files later. But para lang ma-dispose na natin yung dalawang bagong witnesses, nakapag-administer na ba ito? Di ba? Kindly administer the oath to Maria and Joy. Hindi ito yung mga real names nila, pero kindly administer the oath to the two new witnesses. Kindly stand up.
Kindly raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
Thank you. Please sit down. And ipaliwanag nyo lang kung bakit kayo nanditong dalawa. Kayo na yung magkakwento. Sige.
Good afternoon po.
Do you have their real names? Nandiyan naman sa invitation. Thank you.
Okay, so we are working for our boss, Rico Ocampo, who was the previous tenant of 30 Tamarind at Forbes Park.
30 Tamarind, South Forbes.
South Forbes, sir.
Kayo yung mga staff ni Mr. Rico Ocampo.
Kami po, yes po, office staff po ni
Na siya yung tenant doon sa bahay na na-ibenta noong April 2023. Go ahead.
That is correct, Your Honor. And then, during that time, January 29, we were CC'd sa email sa boss namin that we are being evicted January 31 at 3 p.m. Dapat nakalabas na kami ng place. Unfortunately, sa sobrang dami po ng gamit, we weren't able to comply with our deadline. So, we have asked TJ Conti, who is the broker from Turnkey Properties. Nakipag-coordinate po kami to have an extension. And we were given until February 3, I think. That was already 2024 po.
And eventually you were evicted. And who informed you that you were being evicted?
We were informed by our boss po. It was parang email po ng law firm. And then, sinisi po kami ng boss namin for us to be aware that we have to leave the place by January 31, 2024 at 3 p.m.
Yeah, I was able to talk to your boss, si Mr. Rico Ocampo. And he made mention na meron kayong nakaharap nung you were forcibly being pushed out of the residence. Nabanggit niya si Carly Discaya. Would you confirm that?
That was February 1 po.
Yeah.
TJ Conti, he introduced us to the contractor, but he didn't mention the name.
Yeah. But how did you know that that contractor being referred to by TJ Conti is actually Mr. Discaya?
Well, actually, sir, we already mentioned to our boss nung lumabas yung mukha po ni Mr. Discaya. Nasabi ko,
Saan lumabas ang...
sa TV po, when the flood control project is being brought up na.
During the hearings.
Yes, during the hearings.
Okay,
Sabi
so-
ko sa boss ko, sorry about that. Sabi ko po sa boss ko, tsaka sa colleague ko, tingnan nyo ma'am, tingnan mo pang maigi itong mukha na to. Hindi ba ito yung contractor na pasakilala sa atin ni TJ Conti? And then we both agreed na siya nga.
And he was physically there.
He was physically there.
How long did you talk to Mr. Discaya?
It's less than 5 minutes po, pero kasi natandaan namin siya because he was the one manning the people na sinabihan pa na tulungan kami. para mapabilis yung pag-move out namin.
Kindly narrate the conversation that took place between you and Mr. Diskaya at that point in time.
Okay, during February 1 po, it was just a short introduction by TJ Conti. He mentioned that he is the contractor. And then February 2, medyo nagtagal po kasi nakiusap na nga kami na we really cannot matanggal lahat ng mga gamit dahil sa sobrang dami. And he also mentioned to us na contractor ako dito eh. Meron din kaming deadline. And then we both asked baka pwede po namin pakiusapan yung may-ari, yung bagong nakabili ng bahay. And then he also mentioned that si Romualdez ang nakabili. And then after po nun,
As according to Mr. Diskaya.
that is according to the contractors.
Now, nandito tayo sa pagdinig, ano? Kung makikita niyong personal, si Carla Diskaya, makikilala niyo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Pakituro niyo nga kung nandito sa loob ng session hall. Lapitan niyo na lang kung sino dyan sa among the resource persons. Lapitan mo na lang at hawakan mo na lang sa balikat, hindi magagalit yan.
Your Honor, kasi po pang...
You'll be recognized later. No? Tuloy lang natin itong proceeding muna. Sige, miss. Pareho kayo na ina-identify nyo na siya mismo yung kaharap ninyo na sinasabing ang may-ari ng bahay, si Speaker Romualdez, at kailangang umalis na kayo? Kindly answer, use the microphone.
Tama po, Your Honor. Tama po, sir.
So maski ngayon, sa susunod na panahon, sa ibang pagkakataon, ganyan pa rin ang inyong magiging statement.
Correct, Your Honor. Your Honor.
Ngayon, Curly, it's your turn.
Your Honor, okay lang po ba tanggalin nila yung face mask nila? Kasi sa totoo lang po, talagang hindi ko sila naaalala kahit sa panaginip ko na nagising ako ng
For you to
bangungot.
identify them, it's for them to identify you. No?
Your Honor, wala po kasi akong maalalang transaction at
That's your option to deny. What we are establishing here is the fact that there are two witnesses present here under oath na sinasabing nagpunta ka doon at nine-name drop mo, totoo man o hindi, si Speaker Romualdez na siyang nagmamay-ari, bagong may-ari noong number 30 Tamarin Street sa South Forbes. Yun lang naman eh. It's not for you to be able to, hindi naman ikaw ang witness against them eh. I don't know if I'm correct. Secretary Bida, kindly help me out, or Dong, PG Dong. Tama ba yun? Wala siyang karapatan na i-identify yung nagturo sa kanya?
Opo. Ang right to confrontation ho kasi kung yun ho ang iniisip ni Mr. Diskaya will come at the appropriate time. But for purposes of identification, ang kakailanganin lang po ay yung taong mag-identify dun sa taong kikilalanin.
Thank you, PG Dong. Sige, say your piece.
Your Honor, gusto ko po sana ma-identify po muna yung dalawang nagtuturo sa akin kasi kahit ni minsan po, hindi pa po ako nakakapasok sa South Forbes Park. Hindi ko pa nga alam kung ano mga uri ng mga bahay meron doon. So, malabong-malabo po talaga at wala po akong inuutusan na kahit sinong broker kasi takot po akong bumili sa mga lugar na yun. Ang kaya ko lang bilhin po ng mga lupa sa lugar lang po ng mga Pasig na hindi ganun kamahal ang presyo ng lupa.
Hindi ka naman sasabing bumili ka eh. Hindi naman yan nila sasabi ikaw ang bumili. Anyway, that's it, ano?
Ang sabi, Mr. Chairman, contractor daw. Ikaw daw ang contractor. Yan ang sabi. Hindi sinabing ikaw ang bibili.
Your Honor, hindi pa po kami nakakapasok sa South Forbes Park.
Settled na yan.
Isang beses. Opo.
They pointed to you, they identified you, and you are denying. Period.
Mr. Chair, follow-up question.
This is Senator Risa.
Salamat, Mr. Chair. Miss, yung mas malayo sa akin, may nabanggit kayong law firm na kasama nung pagpapaalis sa inyo at pagpasok ng bagong may-ari. Aling law firm po iyon for the record?
Let me just check po my email, Your Honor.
Tapos pakisabi na lang sa aming komite through the chair para lang mabuo namin yung
For
sinasabi
that
niyo.
matter, kung alam niyo rin, ang sinasabing si Speaker, pero si Speaker ba ang nasa deed of absolute sale? Kung hindi, sino? Kung alam ninyo.
It's Golden Peasant po.
Golden Peasant holding Corporation, di ba?
Yes.
Ng major stockholder, isa nagngangalang Paras.
Hindi ko lang po sigurado.
Yes.
But for the law firm, it's Ocampo Manalo Valdez Lim.
Salamat po, Mr. Chair. Una, point of information lang. Nabanggit po kasi kanina na dapat sana pina-flag na ng COA yung mga iniimbestiga ng aming komite na flood control projects, either na ghost or substandard. No, yung sinabi kanina ni Senator Kiko. So, yung point of information dyan ay, in fact, ang COA ay nakapag-flag na ng 4 na proyekto sa Bulacan amounting to a total of 330 million pesos. So, baka habang dumadaan ang panahon ay mas marami pang masa-flag ang COA. So, yung mga unang mga tanong ko po, follow-up questions, Mr. Chair, sa DPWH. Kaugnay po na yung anong resulta ng audit o investigasyon na ginagawa ng department dun sa mga ghost or defective na flood control projects. So yung mga nabanggit nyo na po kanina, Yusek Bisnar, na isamuitin na po ito yan sa ICI. Tama po ba?
Your Honor, after po nung technical inspection and assessment, meron pong internal audit within DPWH. Ito naman po more of yung mga documents and payment billings ang titingnan. After nito po, saka po ipapadala sa ICI, Your Honor.
Okay po, so hindi pa po. May time frame po ba kayo para mag-submit sa commission?
We will do it as much as possible because ang figure po na pinag-uusapan is around 292.
292 projects.
Out of the 337, Your Honor.
Opo. And within this month po ba yun or within the first quarter of the year, ano po yung horizon na tinitignan nyo to submit to ICI?
Within first quarter po.
First quarter.
Your Honor, what we'll do is kung ano po yung matapos, submit na po kami kagad sa ICI. Hindi na po namin hihintayin matapos po lahat. So we will submit as as IAS is finished.
So pwede pong batch by batch?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then sa Ombudsman, within the first quarter din po ba kayo magsasubmit or mas maaga or mas late pa doon?
Your Honor, yung ICI po ang magre-refer po sa Ombudsman.
Alright, salamat po, Yusek. And ilan po yung dapat maasahan ng publiko? Yung mga nanonood nitong hearing, yung mga nagalit, yung mga umasa, yung mga nagrally, yung mga nagsumbong, both sa Senate Blue Ribbon at saka sa executive. Ilan po yung aasahan ng publiko na mga contractor sa private sector at opisyal sa public sector na makakasuhan?
Your Honor, kasi po gaya po nitong 416 na ito na nai-announce pero hindi pa po tapos yung technical inspection and assessment at saka po yung internal audit. Mahirap po magbigay ng number kasi po baka po gano'n naman po, may expect na naman po yung public. Pero what we're reassuring po the public and this committee is lahat po ng pwedeng gawin ng department para supportahan po yung effort ng ICI ay ginagawa po namin.
Well, I would agree, Mr. Chair, na parang double-edged sword yung expectation. Kasi baka, lalo na kung magbibigay ng petsa, umasa, baka pag lumampas, mabigo. Pero mayroong aspetong siguro positibo din yung expectation na mas magiging solid yung pag-asa ng publiko na magbubunga talaga itong aming investigasyon sa Blue Ribbon, magbubunga yung internal investigation ng department, magbubunga ang mga proseso sa ICI at saka sa Ombudsman. So, siguro naman, tulad ng sinabi niyo, magsasubmit kayo sa ICI in batches of cases. Meron ba kayong sense na ano yung magnitude ng pwedeng i-anticipate man lang ng publiko na makakasuhan? Tens contractors and officials ba? Dose-dosena ba? Aabot ba sa 100? Ano yung sense po ng department as of now?
Your Honor, yung capability po ng internal audit service ng DPWH will be maximized po para po to look into this 416 projects. In fact po, meron pong effort na mag-hire nga po ng additional accountants and even engineers for yung quality assurance unit.
And auditors po?
Opo, auditors and accountants. Para po mas mapabilis po itong process natin.
And sa ngayon po, sa mga proyektong at least na kompleto nyo na yung internal audit, ilan na ang maaasahan ng publiko na either na posibleng makasuhan bunga nitong internal audit at investigasyon ng department?
I cannot give an exact figure, Your Honor.
The range, yes.
But we will submit a report on this matter para po mas accurate po yung maibigay namin na data.
Magsasabay ko kayo sa aming komite.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mga kailan po matatanggap ng aming chair yung report ng department?
Within the month, Your Honor.
Within this month, okay.
Yes.
Salamat po, Yusek. Tapos, follow up sa ilang naunang interpelasyon na, itong pinag-usapan at iniintindi naming coordinates, magkakaibang klaseng mga coordinates, anong epekto ng balitang hindi tama ang coordinates na ginamit sa pagtunto ng mga posibleng ghost at saka substandard projects? Ano yung naramdaman ng department na epekto ng ganon?
Una po, dahil po mali yung location coordinates na ibinigay at ginamit ng mga nag-validate. Siyempre po, yung ang effect po nun is na-mislead po sila into the wrong locations eh. And even po yung report na isinubmit nila is basically mali rin po kasi mali na kagad yung location coordinates na pinagbasihan po nila ng inspection po nila. So, ang effect po nito is basically po, we will restart all over. Kung natapos na po natin yung 1/3 ng 30,000 flood control projects in the last 10 years, and then i-reassess na naman po natin to. Just to be sure po na with our data.
So dahil po na-mislead, Mr. Chair, so it did a disservice, hindi lang sa paghanap ng committee ito at ng ibang investigating bodies ng katotohanan, pero on top of in effect nanakaw yung buwis ng publiko, lalong binasa nung bumagyo, dagdag pang naloko, at least para malaman ang postmortem, kung ano yung totoong kwento. Dahil mali yung mga naging report, parang lalo pang natamaan yung reputation ng department or ng executive as a whole, ng gobyerno as a whole. And at dahil kailangan nyo palang i-restart ulit yung 1/3 nyo nang natapos na out of the 3,000 projects na pag-audit, pag-imbestiga, significant po yun, no? 1/3 already. Uulitin nyo pati yun, bukod sa 2/3 na hindi pa nasimulan. So, parang nasayang din, no? Yung effort, yung energy, yung resources ng department, Mr. Chair.
Tama po kayo, Your Honor.
Okay, so hindi po maliit na damage, no? All around. Nung inimbestiga na lahat ito last year ng iba't ibang bodies, nasa DPWH naman na yung mga MIPS na start, intermediate, and pati po yung infra-track, di po ba, Yusek?
Lahat po yun ay nasa DPWH, Your Honor.
Opo. So, bakit di yun yung ginamit ng department sa unang validation pa lang? Parang ngayon lang lahat ito nalalaman.
Sige.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Yusek Bernabe.
Yes, ma'am. Because I think nung initially po, no, nagbuo nga po ng team itong ICI, composed of the AFP, PNP, and DepDev. And they relied on the coordinates dun po sa sumbong sa Pangulo. So they followed that sumbong sa Pangulo coordinates, which is the MIPS coordinates.
I see. So pati yung AFP at PNP na mislead sa simula, pati sila na mali sa report dahil dito.
Yun po yung kanilang pinuntahan po, yung MIPS coordinates po. Bali po, the DPWH is also coordinating with ICI to give technical support. Pero po ito pong 421 talaga ay sa ICI po ito na task and
And pati po yung AFP at PNP, dagdag sa marami na nilang trabaho, kailangan nilang sumama ulit sa DPWH, ulitin yung pag-audit investigate sa mga 1/3 of the total number of projects.
possibly po.
Possibly. So pati po sila nabanatan. Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, just one interjection. During the hearing of the Committee on Justice of the Senate, the ICI, the chairperson, as well as Secretaries Babes, mentioned that there were 400 plus those projects. So you're saying that the ICI was also misled based on the wrong information?
Mr. Chair, yun po, the coordinates they used was the MIPS, so that now we have to revalidate using also the coordinates of the infratrack to ensure that indeed if it is ghost or it is in a different location, Mr. Chair.
Which black eye ang nangyari pati sa ICI bilang investigative body dahil mali ang mga coordinates na ginamit at sinasabing 400 ang ghost project na mukha hindi pala tama at ngayon muli ninyong binubusisi.
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator.
Salamat, Senator Kiko. So talagang, and of course, kung ganyang karami o lahat halos ng mga investigating bodies ay minimislead, malamang ibig sabihin may pinagtatakpan talaga, no? Sa buong proseso ito. I really, Mr. Chair, I really can't help feeling na may hindi nag-a-add up. Kaya katulad ni Senator Kiko, yung ni-raise niyang intervention in the earlier round, sang-ayon talaga ako na dapat bahagi ng usaping ito yung pagtingin di lang sa ghost projects, pati sa mga substandard na projects na dun may corruption din na probably nangyari. So, follow up ko naman po sa Department of Justice. So, will it, you said Mark, okay. So, I'll continue to ask the questions of the department kay ating Prosecutor General Fadulyon. Ano naman pong epekto nitong issue din, yung sa coordinates, sa mga kasong isasampa dun sa mga suspected na corrupt?
Well, sa ngayon po, Mr. Chair, as far as the cases that we have already and we are conducting investigations, hindi naman po siya maapektuhan, no? Pero in a way, it would have made things a bit faster. Kasi ang mangyayari ho niyan, ito hong mga cases na inimbestigahan ng department is the product of the work of law enforcement pertaining to the NBI. So sila po yung talagang pumunta doon sa site at sinek at binalidate isa-isa kung talaga pong ghost projects ito o hindi. But I guess with the data and information coming from the DPWH, which would be more accurate, then it would facilitate and make the investigations and the gathering of evidence faster. Pero sa ngayon po naman, based on the cases that were referred to us by the NBI, gumagalaw siya kasi hindi naman po siya dependent doon sa data na nakala po doon ay yung binabanggit po ngayon ng DPWH.
Okay. So, para hindi rin ma-mislead pati yung NBI, and yung kasasabi nyo lang po, PG Fadulyon, assurance na may bahaging investigasyon led by the DOJ na hindi mamimislead nitong mga corrections na kailangan nating gawin sa mga datos na basehan ng mas technical siguro na investigasyon at auditing na pinamumunuan naman ng DPWH.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Madam Senator, kasi po ang mangyayari ngayon yan is yung binabanggit nga po ng DPWH, the submissions that they have of whatever data they gather is brought to the the ICI. And then any investigation that the ICI sees is needed or may be conducted is referred to the Office of the Ombudsman. The Department of Justice po, gumagalaw po siya ng sarili niya. In coordination, we still coordinate with the ICI and with the Office of the Ombudsman. Pero ito po mga kaso na ginagawa po natin at iniimbestigahan po natin, ay batay po sa pagsusuri na ginagawa ng NBI upon the directive of the DOJ po.
So in a way po, dalawang parallel,
Yes.
fact-finding or investigation or auditing.
Opo, at dagdag ko na lang po na siyempre kung ano po yung naimbestigahan namin since kino-coordinate namin sa ICI at sa DPWH, nakakabawas na po yun dun sa datos na kailangan pa nating ituring na ghost projects kasi at least ito po ay may mga kaso na pong gumagalaw.
Okay, salamat po, PG Fadulyon. Again, that's reassuring para marinig ng ating publiko na kahit minsan parang one step backward or may pag-uulit, may pag-retrace ng steps na kailangan mangyari, meron din namang 1 or 2 steps forward. And yung pong timetable ng NBI at saka ng DOJ ba, medyo kapacing nung sa DPWH, ICI, Ombudsman within some makukumpleto na by the end of this month or some or most or all within the first quarter. Meron na rin po ba kayong parang first batch ng mga cases na medyo mahihinog na at magbubunga na ng some kind of resolution para sa ating publiko?
Mr. Chair, for the information of the body, as mentioned by the Secretary po, we already referred 2 cases to the Office of the Ombudsman which have been filed with the Sandigan Bayan. These are 2 cases for malversation of public funds. And there are 3 cases. This also involves yung ghost projects, no, involving yung Sims Construction in Bulacan. These 3 cases are also due for resolution. The resolution will be out anytime within the week po. No? So there are a total of 5 cases. At the same time, there are 6 cases in different stages na kung saan patapos na po yung preliminary investigation, yung iba naman po ay ongoing. Pero we hope to be able to finish them well before the end of the month. And we have 3 new cases which were sent back to us. Ito po yung na-referred din naman ng Department for Plunder to the Office of the Ombudsman. This was returned to us last week. And within the week, the subpoenas for these cases para doon sa preliminary, pag-usad ng preliminary investigation ay may lalabas na po itong linggo na to.
Salamat, PG. So, again, maasahan ng publiko natin na may mga significant na hakbang pasulong by, sabi nyo, yung iba by the end of the week, yung iba naman by the end of the month. So, mga konkretong hakbang forward na pwede pong subaybayan ng ating mga kababayan. Okay, salamat po. PG, balik po ako sa DPWH. Patuloy pa rin po yung investigasyon ninyo. Tama po ba?
That is correct, Madam Chair.
Apo, kasi nga, sabi nyo batches by batches hanggang matapos yung audit at investigation sa lahat ng mga suspected na ghost or substandard projects. So, ano pong ginagawa ng DPWH para ingatan yung budget ng inyong department at siguraduhin hindi na or in largest part hindi mananakaw ang pera ng taong bayan?
Madam Chair, insofar as the budget preparation is concerned, our planning undersecretary is already crafting a new way of formulating the DPWH NEP. So hindi na po siya yung dati po nga na merong mga formula na ginagamit on the allocables that has been scrapped. And meron na pong bagong formula na gagamitin to ensure po that the budget will be used more wisely. Of course, for implementation, yun nga po yung mga reforma na aming ginagawa. As of now, yung pong transparency portal ang aming nilaunch wherein we will all the data of all projects, including pictures and the contracts, are available to the public. Later on po, we are in the process of procuring satellite images para po meron pong satellite images for each contract, each project. And this will be available to the public. So that way po mabawasan ng mga human intervention, human interference, and to ensure that all the projects are monitored by not only by us but general public po.
Sabi niyo po yung sekwala ng allocables. So both yung term at yung practice, siguruhin na wala na yun sa sabi niyong new way of crafting the DPWH budget.
That is correct, Madam Chair.
Okay, and then maglo-launch kayo ng transparency portal. So tulad namin dito sa Senate, tulad ng executive, yung mga portals kaya nito, they will be able to speak to each other para mag-validate, cross-reference sa isa't isa sa mga data.
Yes po. Actually, ma'am, launched na po siya, Madam Chair. We can already access it. And we are continuing to populate the data in the transparency portal.
Sorry, go ahead, Yusuf.
Yes po. All the data po in the portal comes from the PCMA. So lahat po sila nag-uusap po sila, no? Except now for the images, satellite images, wherein we have entered MOA with the PhilSA para po sila ang mag-supply sa amin ng mga images after we have procured the same.
And yung satellite images na yun, may kasama na silang coordinates, whichever kind of coordinates, pero talagang kung ano yung coordinates, kahit sinong mamamayan pwedeng mahanap dun talaga sa eksaktong longitude at latitude na yan. Kasi kahit sabihin, actually they were, the project was 1 point something kilometers away. Hindi yun lang. Malayo-layo ang 1 point something kilometer. Hindi po yan meter or di po ba, kilometer rin po yan. So but yung satellite images, kasama na yung actual na coordinates sa DPWH, Mr. Chair. Last week po lumabas yung balita na nagkasunog sa DPWH office sa Baguio. Sabi ni Mayor Magalong, sensitive documents were lost in that fire dahil lumalabas po na dun mismo sa record section nagsimula yung sunog na yan. Meron ng, so, dun sa ganyang statement ni Mayor, lumalabas po ba na arson ang nangyaring iyon? So sadya pong hindi nasunog pero sinunog yung records na yon?
Madam Chair, as to the final report, as to the cause of the fire, it has yet to be determined by the BFP. However, we have here a list of all the affected documents, and it appears that wala naman pong sensitive documents, and all of which we have copies of.
Okay, so mali ba si Mayor Magalong? Dahil sinabi nilang sensitive documents ang nawala. Na-reassure nyo na ba sila na those are not sensitive at may kopya po kayo?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have a list here, and we have the copies that we can submit to the honorable body po.
Please do through our chair. At may investigation po bang underway din ang department para matukoy either kung sino ang nagsunog sa opisina or at least paanong nasunog yung opisinang yon?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have sent a team the past week nung nangyari po yung incident, and they are working closely with the BFP to determine the cause of the fire, Madam Chair.
May iniso na po bang lumalabas na possible causes of that fire?
Wala pa po, Madam Chair.
Wala pa rin. Eh di ba last year may nasunog na rin na isa pang DPWH office? Hindi ako nagkakamali doon sa Quezon City.
Yes,
sa
po, yan
Metro
po yung
Manila. So,
Bureau of Research and Standards.
yes po, so bakit hindi po tayo mas nag-ingat pagkatapos? Kasi sa halip na mapigilang maulit ang isang Quezon City DPWH, naulit pa nga, DPWH Baguio naman. And these are two areas na lumalabas dito sa Blue Ribbon investigation namin, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Madam Chair. Kaya po patuloy po ang aming investigasyon to find out po ang actual cause. We don't want to speculate as of the moment, but at least po we can assure everyone that all the documents are accounted for and there are no sensitive documents that are affected. In fact, puro po itong mga lumang dokumento po.
I can appreciate that po, Mr. Chair, pero of course hindi natin masisi yung publiko na mag-speculate na may mga precautionary measures ba na ginagawa ang department para wala nang sumunod pa na mga misteryosong pagsunog ng mga DPWH office, lalo na sa mga area na sumasailalim na sa magnifying glass ng Blue Ribbon at ng ibang investigating bodies.
Well, Madam Chair, as of the moment po, at the very least when we came in, yun nga po, lahat po ng documents, we require them to be scanned and to have copies of. No? Of course, ito pong sunog, supposedly meron naman po tayong mga standards to avoid fire. However, of course, di pa namin maiwasan kung meron nga po mga ganitong insidente. So, ang mga gawa lang po namin is secure the documents, ensure that we have copies, and that all are accounted for in the event that meron pong ganitong mga mangyayaring insidente.
Okay, salamat po, Mr. Chair. Of course, never naman na walang magagawa ang department para maiwasan o mapigilan ito. So I hope that the department will continue to be proactive, preserve the records kasi hindi lang siya of public value at ordinary times, pero lalo na ngayon na talagang bunga nung sumabog na issue ng flood control and other projects, scandals na di pa nga tayong lahat tapos na mag-imbestiga. Gusto nating ibalik yung tiwala ng publiko sa concerned kami sa legislature, and I'm presuming kayo sa executive. So sana you will continue to think of and implement more preventive measures to preserve these records. I just have 1.5 minutes left, Mr. Chair, so siguro at least one question sa DOJ, maybe kay PG Fadulyon. So, kasi kanina po, sir, pinag-uusapan natin yung mga parallel investigations na hopefully nagko-complement sa isa't isa at napipigilan na kung may delay man or may reversal on one track, at least tuloy-tuloy yung isa pa. So, kumbaga, nagtutulungan. So, ano pong koordinasyon meron ang DOJ sa DPWH din, sa ICI, sa Office of the Ombudsman para siguruhin coherent po yung mga investigasyon ninyo at yung buong investigasyon ng executive at yung talagang dapat na masingil ang accountability, sila po ay talagang masisingil.
Okay, Mr. Chair, insofar as yung coordination po, we have a task force which addresses particularly itong sa flood control, which I head together with other prosecutors in the department. And in the deliberations that we have, involved po lagi ang ICI. We always inform them about the meeting so that they are apprised also of any cases that we are investigating, of any cases that we are filing. Now, if there are certain things that we need also naman, let's say documentary evidence that we need from the DPWH, we go straight to the DPWH as they have representatives who constantly attend the meetings. Insofar as the Office of the Ombudsman, when there are cases that we are investigating and we refer to them, nag-uusap na naman po kami na itong kaso na to ay covered na po ng department. So most likely, hindi na po yan itatouch yung project na yan. Iba naman po, para lang hindi po maging doble yung galaw. And then, for example, if it is discovered later on that there are certain overlaps, we sit down and talk about it just to make sure that there will be no confusion pagdating ho sa resolution na magkakaroon po ng conflict din naman. Kasi nauna na nga po yung, let's say, nauna na yung ombudsman or nauna na ang DOJ. And this extends all the way up to the prosecution. Kasi even in the prosecution of cases, the Department of Justice may be deputized by the Office of the Ombudsman to handle the cases. And as in fact, by way of example, the case as against Sara Diskaya, which is now pending before the court in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, is being handled by prosecutors from the Ombudsman in the Office, Ombudsman Mindanao and Ombudsman Visayas. But the Department of Justice prosecutors are also there to provide assistance or to collaborate with the lawyers of the Office of the Ombudsman, just to make sure that we're on the same page po.
So, yun pala, may maibibigay ba kayong status nung proseso laban kay Sara Diskaya dito sa aming komite?
Well, what we know, Mr. Chair, is that there were hearings that were already conducted and that there were certain incidents that were raised. Also among them was to have to question the authority of the court that issued the warrant, saying that the court did not have jurisdiction to issue the warrant of arrest. But I think that was also addressed considering the fact that the transfer of the case was initially filed in Davao, but because of the creation of the Supreme Court of Anti-Corruption Courts, designating Lapu-Lapu City and Dumaguete, doon kaya po nailipat doon. So I think that issue was also resolved. There was also a request which was made by the accused in that case to have the case remanded or transferred back to Davao. but which the court also denied in an order that it issued late last week. So sa ngayon po, hindi pa lang po namin, pinababantayan po namin ngayon dun sa prosecutors namin na makipag-coordinate po dun sa ombudsman prosecutors para sa mga susunod na hakbang na mangyayari kung kailan po matutuloy yung arraignment and how the other incidents are being resolved po.
And correct me if I'm wrong, PG, Ms. Vizcaya actually surrendered, ano po? Even before the warrant was issued. Tama po ba yan?
That is correct po, ma'am. I don't think surrender would be the correct term, but she submitted herself to the jurisdiction of to the NBI for her own protection, and then when yung warrants of arrest ay lumabas na po, doon na po isinerve sa kanya, at yun po ang naging dahilan kung bakit siya nadala sa Cebu City, sa Lapu-Lapu po.
I stand corrected. Salamat para dun sa correction. You mentioned, sir, for her own protection. Anong ibig niyong sabihin doon?
Well, yun po ang binigay na dahilan kasi tinatanong po namin yung NBI noon, what is he surrendering for when there were no cases yet? So, I think yun yung binigay na dahilan sa amin for parang protective custody. Okay, so hindi mo naman pwedeng tanggihan po kung humihingi ng protective custody yung tao. Kaya lang po, na dumating na sa punto na ilalabas na nga po lumabas na nga po yung warrant, wala din naman pong gawa ang ating mga taga-NBI kung hindi ipatupad yung warrant at iserve sa kanya.
Salamat, sir. Well, for my last quarter minute or so, kahit masakit marinig ng lahat ng mga sektor na iniimbestiga ng aming komite or lumabas sa mga testimonies ng mga resource persons, pwede niyo po bang kaming bigyan ng rundown ng mga kinasuhan na at mga posibleng makasuhan halimbawa sa susunod na linggo?
You may respond, and incidentally, yung time nyo expired.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
If, Mr. Chair, if you will allow, I can just submit the list to the good senator, just so that all the names of those who have been charged, who have been or are under investigation, and who will be the subject of preliminary investigations will be brought to your attention po.
Please do so to our chair for the whole committee. Salamat po, please. Salamat, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Risa. The next in line is Senator Dante Marcoleta.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kanina po ay pinag-uusapan natin ng mga coordinates, Yusek Disnar, and you started citing 416 cases. Ito yung parang potential flood control ghost projects, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, following the MIPS start and ends, you establish that talagang merong discrepancies sa coordinates. Tama. Actually, lahat. Yung 50, more than 50 and less than 50, sabi nga ng chairman, parehong mali yun. Because talagang may diferensya. Tama.
In comparing po yung actual na site and
Yes.
yung MIPS start coordinate.
Yeah, the reason is, ang nangyari nga, ang pinadala sa opisina ng Pangulo ay yung MIPS application. If you will recall, nandiyan naman si Yusek Bernabe. During the first hearing of the Blue Ribbon Committee, of which I was the chairman, I already pointed out na ang sumbong sa Pangulo was based on the MIPS submission, which is wrong. Nagtataka ako kasi, Mr. Chair, kung bakit hanggang ngayon ayaw pa nilang sabihin yung dahilan. Nung pinag-submit kayo ng Pangulo, whatever reference data you might have, pwede naman yung ibigay yung PCMA. The PCMA is more accurate than the MIPS. Yusek Bernardo, will I be correct in assuming that?
Mr. Chair, tama po, yung PCMA po yung actual.
Yes, and then there is even more accurate than the MIPS and the PCMA. Ito yung tinatawag ninyong Survey 123. Tama? Yun ang itong siguro, maski ang chairman, naguguluhan sa inyo, bakit nga yun ang una nyong naisip? Of course, nagpaliwanag si former secretary, tama naman yun, at sa pagmamadali, dahil nga kailangan na ng Pangulo, ang naisip ay yun muna, MIPS. Pero ito multi-year kasi, kahit Kahit pa paano mo isipin, yung multi-year, gumagalaw naman yun eh. Kung pagbabasihan po natin ang inyong mga records, tingnan po ninyo, sinasabi pa nga dyan sa PCMA, this is geotag ito eh. Hindi ba? Real time. So doon pa lamang sa real time, geotag, dapat yun ang binigay ninyo. So na-lesson sana yung 421. Anyway, sabi ni former secretary, it's mind-boggling na 421 naman. Siguro nga sa karanasan naman niya, baka naman siguro 20 hanggang 50 siguro, baka maniwala sa mga. Pero 421, sabi niya medyo katakataka. Pero, Mr. Secretary, I will refresh your memory. Nung ako pa yung chairman, I was expecting na ang pinag-uusapan natin, hindi po, wala pa tayong numbers noon eh. But nung mag-deliver ng first privilege speech ang ating chairman, kinuwenta namin lahat. Sabi ko, pagka ganito, hindi ko kulangin sa 50 ang potential numbers ng ghost projects. And at that time, you even agreed with me na maaaring ang ganon. Pagkatapos, yung second meeting, naalala ko, Mr. Chair, dalawa lang yung sinabit mo, Yusek, Secretary, na ghost projects ng flood control. Ito nga yung dalawang projects ng SIMS at saka yung Wawaw na nando sa may Capiz, Taliptip River sa Perez, Bulacan. At yung isa naman ay yung reinforced concrete river wall sa Baliwag, Bulacan. So I was a little bit annoyed. Alam mo naman yun, tinext kita. Sabi ko, this is not our agreement. I was hoping that you will submit to us at least or not less than 50 ghost projects. And then you will remember that because of that text, you texted me back. Tinignan ko uli yun. The date is August 30, 2025. And you bid me a list of temporary, ang subject ng text mo, Secretary, summary of flood control inspection by implementing offices. This is August 30, 2025. The total projects na covered by that summary, 2,113. At dito sa report mo, Secretary, merong without structure, meaning ghost, 15. So if out of 2,113 investigated projects, meron kayong nakitang 15 without structure, meaning ghost, 30,000 mahigit lahat ang projects ng flood control, then we can compute by ratio and proportion 2,113 over 15 multiplied by 30,000 by X. Paano mo nito? So lilito dito, Secretary, the potential ghost projects out of the universe of 30,000 projects, pwedeng maging 213 ang costs. Hindi 421. Yung 200, dito sa kwenta natin, it's possible. Is my logic valid? Yusek Bisner?
Yes, Your Honor.
Akala ko kukontra ka eh. Yun nga eh. Bakit hanggang ngayon sinusundan nyo yung MIPS? Hindi kayo kagad pumurba kagad eh. Nakita nyo, merong PCMA, merong Survey 123, but pinilit pa ninyong kaygayin lahat using the MIPS. Alam na ninyo, from the beginning I told you it was wrong already. Bakit ngayon pinipilit nyo pa, ngayon pa lang kayo kukurba? Sabi nga ni Senator Ontiveros, ulitin nyo naman lahat ito. Ang public na naman magtatagal na naman tayo. Bakit hindi nyo kagad ikinurba yung pagsusuri ninyo?
Your Honor, nung nagpakuha po tayo ng coordinates for the inspection ng AFP-PNP, dated September 9, 2025, pinakuha na po natin yung coordinates from both MIPS and PCMA. And ito yung ibinigay natin sa AFP-PNP. Ang ano lang po doon is hindi lahat po ng projects ay merong both MIPS and PCMA infratrack coordinates. Pero as much as possible po, kung ano po yung available ay ibinigay po.
Very preliminary yun. Pag NEP lang, para lang magkaroon kayo ng NEP, tsaka address pa lang yun eh. Lilito, gagalaw na yan pag PCMA na yan. Hanggang sa mapino na ninyo, lilito na sa survey 100, lilito na medyo okay na yung coordinates nyo. Kaya lang, MIPS palagi yung ginagamit mo, kaya tingnan mo, yung coordinates mo ang baba lang, 2 kilometers. I will give you at least 14 samples of wrong coordinates. All over, ako nakakuha ko, Hindi 2 kilometers ang variance eh. Alam mo yung variance na nakuha namin is from 67 kilometers to 400 kilometers. Kasi yung ginagamit mo is MIPS eh. That is why at the very beginning, I was telling the DPWH, it is wrong to start from the MIPS. Mamimislead lahat ng mga tao. So, yun ang naging problema natin. I am happy that the chairman already encouraged the DOJ na kunin nyo na yung nakadetain sa Senate. Marami pa raw kami nakadetain dito para lumog-luwag yung aming detention area. Yung ba yung tawag natin, boss?
Senate Airbnb ata ang tawag.
O para lumug-luwag naman yun, sabi ng DOJ, opo, kukunin namin. Talaga, kukunin nyo?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Sabi pa nga ng chairman natin, narinig ko kanina, Mr. Diskaya, kayo lahat na makipag-usap na kayo, baka sakaling mag-qualify kayo sa Witness Protection Program. Tama naman yun. Ang problema, Prosecutor Padulyon, ini-insist mo kasi yung restitution kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng problema. Will you still insist on that?
Sir, we never mentioned that restitution is a condition. Paulit-ulit po namin sinasabi yun, Mr. Chair, na hindi po siya kondisyon para ang isang tao ay matanggap o makonsidera bilang isang witness under the Witness Protection.
Tapos na tayo dyan.
Kaya nga po sinasagot po kayo na hindi ko po namin sinasabi. Wala po kami sinasabi na restitution is a condition. So I'm not insisting on it, sir.
Hindi mo sinasabi ngayon, but when you were talking about a memorandum, yun ang sinasabi mo there, pwede namin ilagay yung restitution because it is a matter of good public policy. Ano naman klaseng, kaya nga nahihirapan sila eh. Yung Diskaya, to my mind, were the first to apply under the Witness Protection Program. Ang problema, ang sabi ng then Secretary of Justice, now Ombudsman, hindi naman basta-basta ganun. Kailangan isaulin ninyo yung ininakaw ni. Ang problema po doon, kung wala namang korte pa pong nagsasabi kung talagang sila'y nagnakaw o nakapagnakaw, sino pong magkukwenta noon? Tapos ano yung explain ninyo, under a certain paragraph of the law, merong memorandum na kung saan magkukomply sila doon yung pinipilit yung restitution. And I think some of the potential witnesses that can be processed under that program, nagsipagbigay na ng kung ano-ano eh. Is that true?
Only those who have been admitted into the program actually returned or made restitution, sir.
Why did they do that? They did that because it was their own initiative or you required them to do that?
It was an agreement between the Department of Justice through the Secretary of Justice, sir, and the witness applicant po.
That is the problem. The agreement is based not on the provision of the WPP. Sabi ko, kung sinasabi ng WPP, it cannot be a condition. Kahit nasa memorandum, huwag mo ipipilit. Hindi po pwede yun eh. Kaya sinabi ko sa iyo earlier, and I think I should tell it again to you. Sabi nating mga abogado, the spring cannot rise higher than its source. The law itself is the source. ang spring yung memorandum mo. O, pinipilit mong ilagay sa memorandum yung restitution eh. O kaya merong ako nababalitaan, parang meron ang gustong umatras. Eh, magkano ibibigay? At kanino ibibigay? Sino mag-account nun? Eh, sino nagsabi nun na kung mangungulekta kayo sa DOJ? Eh, di ba abuse of discretion yun, Mr. Padulyon?
No, it is not, sir.
What is it?
It is not abuse of discretion.
What
The
is it?
parties, if I may be allowed to answer, sir.
What is it?
Yes, sir. If the parties both agree to the terms and conditions contained in the memorandum of agreement, there is no abuse.
You cannot impose an agreement which is not required by the law, especially if you will put restitution there. How can you do that?
Mr. Chairman, sir, yung restitution po, yung memorandum of agreement is a product of an agreement between both the Secretary of Justice representing the DOJ and the WPP and the witness applicant. Wala pong abuse doon kung pareho po sila nagkasundo. Paulit-ulit na po namin sinasabi na ito tayo, naghahanap tayo at naghahabol tayo sa mga taong nangurakot. Tapos itong mga tao na umamin at handang magsoli, ayaw nating tanggapin yung kanilang sinusoli. Ano ho ang nakikitang mali doon? Para po sa amin, para ho maibsan kahit papano yung sakit at pagdurusa ng ating mga kababayan na nakikita nila na napakalaking pera ang nawala. Ano ho ba yung maibalik natin yung kaunti? Remember, Mr. Chair, if I may...
Do not preach to the choir. Ha?
I'm not pleasing,
Sandali lang. Ang pinag-uusapan natin, these people are supposed to be potential witnesses for the state. Kailangan tulungan natin ang Estado para ma-prosecute kung sino-sino ang dapat managot. Kaya nga natin sila ilalagdag. Mahirap ang gagawin nila. Malalagay sa alangin ang buhay nila. Kaya nga yung witness protection is for them. Sa title na title lang, makikita mo, witness protection in interest sa para sa kanila yon. So yung memorandum of agreement, ayun ay dahilan lamang para masiguro mo na sila'y makikipag-cooperate. Kasi kahit na sila'y na-approve under the Witness Protection Program, but they will not cooperate based on the memorandum, pwede mo siyang i-discharge eh. Alam mo, the court can still do that. At saka yung final approval ng witness, state witness, nasa court yun eh. Huwag mong kukunin yun eh. Kaso, isinasama ninyo yung restitution. That is the problem. And I will object to that. Palaging mali yun eh. E paano yung kay Diskaya? Pinipilit ninyo na mag-restitute. Sabi niya, ewan ko kung pinag-usapan ninyo. What did they tell you, Mr. Diskaya?
Your Honor, kung magkano pang i-restitute po muna namin.
Oh, ano sabi nila? Magkano daw?
Ako po, hindi ko po masabi kung magkano po. Kasi para sa akin po, parang kami po ang nanakawan. Parang ibig sabihin, parang modern day na pagnanakaw. Ibig sabihin yung nakaw ba? Siya pa magbibigay ng pera dun sa ninakawan niya? Parang ganun po.
Eh, sabi niya kanina, it's not the agreement between the applicant and the DOJ. Did you agree that you will restitute any money to the DOJ?
Wala po kang maibibigay po. At saka...
O yan na nga, because wala kang maibigay, hindi ka niya ipoprocess under the Witness Protection Program. Is that not correct?
Hindi ko po alam, Your Honor, kung...
Oy, Mr. Chair, paano to? Ito si Mr. Diskaya, he was the first, tsaka yung asawa niya who applied under the WPP. The problem is, ang sabi ng dating DOJ Secretary, ba hindi kinakailangan isuli mo na yung mga pinagnanakaw. Hindi po pwedeng ganun-ganun lang. So, paano nga siya mapoprocess if that was dangled? Paano siya mapoprocess to begin with?
May I be allowed to respond now, Mr. Chair?
PJ,
Thank you, sir. Sir, Mr. Chair, una, sabihin ko lamang po no, na kasinungalingan po yung sinasabi ni Mr. Diskaya na agad-agad silang sinabihan na magsoli ka. Ang pinag-uusapan po dito, bago man lang makapagsabi ng ganon, kailangan mo nang makita kung ano ang gusto at kayang sabihin at patunayan ni Mr. Diskaya at ni Ms. Diskaya na sa kanilang salaysay. Pero hindi po sila nakikipag-ugnayan sa department, kaya hindi po sila mabigyan ng kaukulang proteksyon at hindi po ma-process yung kanilang application. So yung sinasabi po ni Mr. Diskaya, from the hearing of November 14 in the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, there was never a chance or an opportunity that Mr. Diskaya and or counsel even approach the department despite the proddings of the chairman.
Mr. Ano ba yung title mo. Mr. Prosecutor, Mr. PG na lang. Oh, Mr. PG. Nung ako yung chairman pa dito, sila yung unang nag-apply. So, dahil kailangan nila ng protection, it was incumbent upon the chairman na sumulat sa Senate President to endorse yung kanilang application. That was the provision of law kasi. But even before they can do that, actually kasi nung sinasabi ko yun, nung hearing, di ko naman alam mapapalitan na pala kami. Alam mo na yun, di ba? Yung araw din na yun, nag-press call na si Secretary of Justice. Narinig ko eh. Sabi niya, hindi po pwedeng ganun. I cannot apply. Hindi pwedeng basta-basta ganun na lang. And then the new Senate President, based his judgment of not entertaining that application on the articulation of the Department of Justice. So, ang tinatanong ko nga sa inyo, hindi sa sinungaling. Siya yung ang mismong kayo nagbigay na ng condition kasi. Kaya sinasabi ko, if you insisted on the condition of restitution, how can Diskaya or any other persons similar to his situation even begin to apply under the WPP?
If I may respond, Mr. Chair, if I may refresh the memory of the good senator, during the last hearing of November 14, 2025, that matter that you raised about the statement made by the former Secretary of Justice was already put on the side when you asked that question, and we already informed the chairman that if they wish to file their application, if they wish to be processed, they go to the Department of Justice. Binanggit po yan, nasa transcripts po yan na sinasabi niya, o sige, wala mo ng pag-uusapang restitution. But did they ever come to the department to coordinate with us? No, they did not. And let me just put it on record, sir, na hindi po ito question kung sino ang nauna na nagsalita. Hindi po ito question kung sino yung naunang nagbanggit ng napakaraming pangalan. Kung hindi rin naman nila kayang suportahan ng ebidensya at wala rin naman silang mabibigay na magpuprove o magpapatunay sa kanilang mga sinasabi, yan po ang kailangan naming suriin.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, he did not refresh my memory. Pinopollute mo yung memory ko eh. Hindi siya nagpunta rito na sabihin niya, okay, pumunta ka sa DOJ, huwag na muna natin pag-usapan ng restitution. Walang ganon. Nagpunta nga siya rito dito si DOJ Secretary din eh. O sabi ko, Boyeng, okay na ba yun? Papupunta. Di wala nang ano ha? Wala nang restitution ha? Basta papuntahin mo silang mag-asawa doon. Hindi ba nagpunta lang, Mr. Diskaya? Yung kinabukasan nung magkita kayo rito?
Mr. Diskaya, you may respond, but unfortunately, your time is up.
Your Honor, nung ano po, Your Honor, hindi po kami... yes po, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Sige.
Proceed, kasi tapos na yung time ni Senator Plata.
Yes po, Your Honor. Opo.
Hindi, kasi paliwanag mo.
Bali po, Your Honor, kasi po di pa po nagsalita po yung miss ko na
Nasa ganito, wala na akong time eh. Pinapunta lang niya ron kasi nandito eh, nag-uusap kayo eh. O, kayong dalawa mag-asap, punta kayo ron ng alas 9. Pumunta kayo, sinabi ba niya wala nang restitution?
Noong una po, wala pong sinabing may restitution, pero nung sumunod po, yung panghuli po naming usapan po is may restitution, magkano daw po ang i-restitute namin, tapos kakasuhan din po daw kami at hindi didiinan. Pero gusto ko po, Your Honor, na hindi na po muna magsalita ng dire-diretso kasi po yung huli po yung miss ko na nagsalita siya na hindi daw po kami kasama sa WPP. Yung natatandaan ko po yung huling hearing ko dito ay nakulong po yung misis ko sa Davao. Samantalang meron naman po nag-exist na project. Kaya natatakot po ako, Your Honor, na baka pag nagsalita na rin po ako, baka po sa susunod po ako naman po ang makulong. Kaya hindi na po ako magsasalita.
Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, point of order before the next...
Yes, Senator Risa.
Salamat, Mr. Chair. Pwede po bang malaman kung tulad ng iniutos ng Chair nung nakaraang hearing, nag-submit na po sina Mr. and Ms. Diskaya nung buong listahan nila, ledger, ng mga proyekto nila kasama ang mga joint venture projects para sa mga taong 2016 hanggang 2022?
Your Honor, nung nakalabas po ako yung mong nakaraan po ay hindi po kami pinapasok halos ng mga taga City Hall kasi po yung mga taga City Hall po pinasarado po nila yung office namin kasi po nirevoke po nila yung business permit po namin dahil sa kakulangan po ng occupancy permit. So, nakiusap po kami sa City Hall na sana po papasukin po yung mga taga Senate Sergeant at Arms at ayaw po nila papasukin. At ngayon po, wala na po kaming empleyado. Lahat po sila ay iniwan na po kami o yung iba po ay separated na po kasi sarado na po yung kumpanya namin. Ganun din po yung mga nangungumpahan sa office po namin na building na pinauupahan ay wala na rin po sila doon. Kanya-kanya na po sila ng sara.
Mr. Chair, diretso lang po yung tanong ko pero hindi diretso yung sagot. Parang kanina lahat po tayo physically nagitla dun sa sinabi ni Mr. Diskaya na parang sila pa yung nanakawan. I would like to request the good chair to please reiterate yung utos ng komite kina Mr. Diskaya. I-submit yung ledger na sinabi ni Ms. Diskaya noon meron sila ng mga proyekto pati joint venture projects mula 2016 hanggang 2022. Huwag po nilang sisisihin ng City Hall. Hindi po yung kasalanan ng City Hall dahil subject yan ng utos ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Mr. Chair, sabi rin po ng ating secretary sa komite, nag-follow up po sila kina Mr. Diskaya last week. Pero hanggang ngayon po, 3:44 na po ng hapon. Almost 3 hours mula nung nagsimula tayo, hindi pa rin sila sumusunod sa utos ng Blue Ribbon, Mr. Chair.
Your Honor, makikiusap po sana ako na baka para mas kumpleto po yung project list po na makuha ninyo, baka po pwedeng isabpi na lang po ang DPWS kasi may copy naman po sila kasi wala na po kami talagang mga empleyado na mag-asikaso. Ako po nakakulong sa Senate po, yung misis ko naman nakakulong sa Davao. So wala po kami mautusan, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, I will submit to the wisdom of the chair kung ano po yung pinakamabisang paraan. Ang hinahanap ko lang pong outcome ay mabigay ng mga ni na Mr. at Ms. Diskaya yung ledger nila na sinabi ni Ms. Diskaya mayroon sila yung mga joint venture and other projects nila mula 2016 hanggang 2022. Ewan ko ba, Mr. Chair, binabato pa nila sa DPWH yung responsibilidad sumunod sa utos ng Blue Ribbon, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Risa. We'll try to resolve that issue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator JB Ejercito is recognized.
Just a quick manifestation, Mr. President, with the permission of Senator.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, Mr. President, ako hindi nagtataka bakit hindi tinatanggap sa Witness Protection Program itong mga Diskaya. Dito lang sa Senado, hindi na kayo nagko-cooperate eh. Ito ay patunay na mukhang hindi kayo qualified maging witness. Kung sa Senado, hindi kayo nagko-cooperate. Bakit kayo bibigyan ng puwang ng mga taga-WPP? For the record, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator JB.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anyway, Mr. Chair, naalala ko po yung kasi na-focus masyado matagal yung pong notorious district office ng Bulacan, pero equally notorious is the Mindoro, no? Kaya I would like to thank the chair na sa request ko noon pa na sana si naging regional director Gerald Pacanan ay patawag at nandito na siya ngayon, no? At I would like to take advantage of his presence dahil patindi niya po yung mayari sa Mindoro. Although yung lugar na yun, mga lugar na pinaglagyan ng mga flood control projects na uhan, mga swampy, mga river town na kahit na gaano karaming sementong ubusin dyan, hindi yata mawawala talaga ang baha dyan. No? So yan ang base sa ating unang impormasyon. Siguro tanong lang natin muna si Yusek Bernardo, total nandito si Yusek Bernardo. Sinabi kasi ni Congressman Toby Tiangco na mayroong scheme sa lower house tungkol sa bentahan ng projects. No? Pwede nyo confirm. Sa iyong pagkakalam, maaari nyo bang ipaliwanag sa amin kung paano ito nangyayari? Kasi dito sa Senado, wala naman kami nabalta na modus na naglalako o nagbebenta ng mga proyekto. Sino ba ang mga nagbabuy and sell ng projects ito? Ito ba yung mga tinatawag na contractor? So anyway, kayo po yung admitted na sa Witness Protection Program. Baka maaari nyo na rin ilakad sa atin dito sa committee ito kung paano po yung scheme na ito doon sa paglalako at pagbentahan ng proyekto.
Mr. Chair, may I be allowed to consult my lawyer po? Saglit lang po. Thanks po.
Please consult your lawyer.
answer to the question raised by good Senator J.V. Estrada. The question, J.V. Ejercito, the question refers to matters which are considered confidential at this time because we need to secure a written authority coming from the Secretary of Justice. But if the Secretary will allow and give that authority, Mr. Chair, we would like to request that it be done in an executive session, if possible.
Right, probably if there will be a next hearing, I hope that you can already ask the Secretary of Justice, the authority, about this matter that I'm raising. Because it's very important because I think this will give us a better appreciation of the whole picture on how this scheme was really done.
We'll do that, Mr. Chair. We will raise the matter to the Secretary of Justice and try to secure that authority from him.
Can we secure the authority from the DOJ Secretary now? Because I also have questions to be addressed to Yusek Bernardo because we want to confront the others who were also implicated during the last hearing or hearings, namely Undersecretary Olivar, Maynard Ngu, and the others. So hindi magka-clarify dito sa hearing. You see, this is the first time that we have Yusek Olivar and the others, no? Including Ms. Carlene Yapvilla, nandito rin. So mawala ng saysay yung hearing ngayon kung maghihintay at wala rito si Secretary Vida. Can we secure the authority from him now so we can ask questions pertaining to those people implicated earlier by Undersecretary Bernardo?
We will do that, Mr. Chair. We will get in touch with the Secretary of Justice.
Before anything else, Mr. Chairman, contributory to what you are saying, dito po sa Blue Ribbon, lilinawin ko lang, this is in aid of legislation. Di po kami, hindi porke may hinahanap kami nila Senator Ejercito na ang chairman namin ay tungkol sa mga listahan ni ganito at ni ganyan. We're not after personalities here. What we're after is a way to find a legislation that will prevent this from happening again. Over the years, it has happened, it has escalated into 2025. So ang hinahanap po namin sa tulong din po ninyo, makakita kami ng mga pamamaraan para mailagay natin, maisabatas natin na hindi na maulit ito. We're not after the names of people, personalities. Pag lumitaw, lumitaw. Pero ang inatanong namin, yung pamamaraan paano nangyayari ito upang wag nang mangyari muli. Ganun po yun. Salamat.
We completely understand that, Mr. Chair, and that is the reason why we will get in touch with the Secretary of Justice. And also, with your indulgence, the only reason why we are bringing this issue of confidentiality is because it is cited in the law itself. And I believe that the witness who is covered is just mindful of the fact that there are penal sanctions if in the event disclosures are made without authority from the Secretary.
We also understand. That's why you have to wait for that authorization.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, I just received word that the Secretary of Justice has given that verbal authority. The written authority will follow, so I think questions pertaining to the ones which Senator J.B. was asking earlier could already be answered.
Okay, that settles it. Senator J.B., you can continue.
So, Yusek Bernardo can now answer the question given that the Secretary of Justice already gave the authority. Siguro pwede niyang sagutin kung totoo nga ba yung paglalako ng proyekto. Paglalako at pagbibenta ng proyekto, yung buy and sell, no? Nangyayari ba yan sa Senado o doon sa kabilang bahay?
Mr. Chair, ang pagkakaalam ko po pagka po mayroong ganito ay the proponent ask of course the help of the regional directors and district engineers about projects to be released in their own districts or regions. So after that po, meron pong pinaka-proponent